All right, so I guess we're live now. Uh, so hi guys. First of all, hope you're hearing my voice clearly, and hope there's no lagging between my view and the voice. So if you can hear me clearly, please type yes or whatever you want in the chat, and so I can know that you can hear me properly. You can let me know in the chat that you can hear me properly without any problems, and then we'll get started. Or probably wait for more people to join as well. Um, can you hear me? You can let me know in the chat, or maybe wait for more people to join so you can let me know. There's can type me know you can hear me properly. Waiting for more people to join, then we can start a little bit with what's new in SEO. So seems like the two people have joined now. Can you hear me properly? Oh, now only one. Anyone can help me, or maybe I have to check on my own. But I think there shouldn't be any problem today. Maybe let me just check here. I check to see if I can hear my voice. Okay. All right. Seems like the voice is clear. Oh, hi there, Harjot. I hope the voice is clear now for today, right? I just checked and it seems everything is fine. I hope the voice is clear for you, like there's no problem. Then I can get start. Okay, good. Okay, then I guess I'll just read some news first while waiting for other people to join, and we'll see how many questions we get today. So, maybe for those of you who have just joined or new to this live stream, this live stream it will be divided into two parts. First will be the what's news in SEO. So I'll go through a couple of new latest news, or what's kind of what's trending, stuff like that. And then the next part would I will quickly move on to the Q&A section, so question and answers, where you can ask me questions. And also I'll also do a quick site audit for you as well if you want me to have a quick look at any of your website. Okay, so this will be a quick first 15 minutes. Around that, I'll go through what's new in SEO. So here again over the past weekend, there have been a couple of Google updates, and this is quite a big one as well. I've seen many people reported a couple of losses in their rankings. Some also got some gains as well in these rankings. So it was around, I think it was started around Thursday evening, around Friday, stuff like that, up until Sunday. So if you notice any drops or any change in your rankings, that's pretty much normal, right? Like, as you know, Google runs update almost every day. Then here's an and then after that, here's also another big news, which which was found, which was actually, early on, I think about towards the end of last week. So it was, yeah, it was this one first, and then second one is this one. Um, let me see if we can find it. I don't know where did it go, but it was something related to the new Google policy, right, where they announced in 2019 that they will stop supporting cookies, third-party cookies, and on their Chrome browsers, next year in 2022. So, and they came up with a new kind of like a technology where they can kind of keep track of what users are doing, right? And they claim that it is 95% as effective as the the third party cookies that they use for advertising, which is pretty interesting. If you read the news carefully, you see that like you can see that how how big Google is, right? Like how much data they have about us, that they don't really need your cookies, they don't really need anything about your browsers, anything. They can easily keep track of what you do, who you are, or your overall profiles on the internet, right? So you can imagine like how much they can really keep basically track you through devices such as Android, and other stuff, right? Like we don't really know how they really track us fully, but that's just very interesting, which I find. So, and obviously these data that they collect from us, right? Whether it's our behaviors, whether it's our interests, etc., etc., they're all used for your SEO as well, in a bigger way that you can ever imagine, right? So that's why you have to make sure that you build brands, right? And you have a lot of people following you and stuff like that, because Google will literally keep track of everything about everyone that goes to your website and interact with your brand, stuff like that. User experience is also becoming a huge deal in SEO as well. And this is also another interesting news, which was released on March 9, which talks about that Google is losing Google Snippets, right? So over the past like weeks or so, many people have noticed that there has been a significant drop in the number of snippets, or the position 0 shown for the search results. And um, and interestingly, what came in instead of that was more ads being shown. So now we're seeing more ads and less of snippets. So this is another interesting news, which kind of show that Google is, really pushing towards ads, and they want people to really, like stay on their page as much as long as possible, right? Stuff like that. So this also hurts a couple of website, right, that kind of relies on feature snippets, because feature snippets can obviously bring you a lot of traffic as well. So if any of you got hit by this losses, then you can let me know as well in the chat and stuff like that. So it's another interesting news, right? Like we have seen Google been pushing hard on trying to get to basically to serve snippets as much as they can, but now they're kind of taking it away, and become like focusing more on ads. And and also this is also another interesting news, right? That Barry Schwartz, the owner of this search engine journals where he writes about SEO news, he spotted this news on Twitter where John Mueller, the PR guy from Google, talked about talk about technically indexed versus practically indexed. So he basically he mentions that you can basically be technically indexed where your page is fully indexed in Google search and people can actually find you by searching for the keywords. And basically that was practically indexed, sorry. And then technically indexed means that you are indexed in the search results, but no one can actually find you through the search unless you do a search using like a side colon stuff like that. So, and this happens when, let's say, you delete some pages but that pages still are in the index, then you still see that page in the index but they're not ranking for anything. So this is also another interesting thing to see, that Google basically have different level of indexing, right? So and this is what many SEO has speculated over past few years, that there are basically two types, and that is the main index and the supplementary index. So the main index is where they keep all of the actual search results that people can access, and why when people search for queries. Whereas a supplementary index doesn't always mean that your results will be shown to the users, but somehow they're in like in between, whether index or not index, stuff like that. So if any of you are having like problem indexing your content, or in your search console is showing something like discovered but not indexed, or something like that, or maybe like crawl not indexed, any of these problems, then it basically means there's some quality issues with your web pages. So you have to kind of check your content again and check your website overall again. And these are the top four news that we have on this in this week, or for the past week. Now let's kind of jump into the questions and see um, what we have. Oh, hey there, Mike. How are you? I just finished the news for today. Maybe hope you get some good stuff from today. So now we are in the live Q&A section, as well as the site audit. If any of you have your website you want me to check on, just drop me the link. Also, if you have any questions, you can also ask me as well. Or any question regard about related to what I just spoke, about the news, the latest news. You can also ask me that as well. I'll be here for about another 40 to 50 minutes, so there's plenty of time. Considering that we don't have many viewers, obviously you'll get more attention. But if I don't really get any questions, I might leave early as well. In the meantime, I might also go through some of the questions submitted in the Facebook group, and also answers a couple of them. Yeah, hi there, Ankit. How are you doing, man? What's going on? Well, I just finished going through the latest news of today, from the past week or so up until today, the latest SEO news on SEO Roundtable. And there were a couple of good stuff there as well. Maybe you can like after this live you can rewatch it again. Where basically there a little bit of Google cookie policies, as well as in practical versus technical indexing, stuff like that, that John Mueller talks about. Basically, just finished reading a couple of important news for this week. Now we're in the live Q&A section and site audit as well. So cross 1,000 total product sale today. Oh, congratulations! Yep, nice. Maybe like in like later on, like after your site has grown, and after you're getting lots of traffic, you can decide to switch to another affiliate as well, affiliate vendors. So you can sell less, but you get more commissions, because obviously Amazon, they are constantly cutting off the commission price, the commission the price, right? So they're not good for the long run. Basically, like every year or so, I hear people, screaming, that Amazon cuts down their price, stuff like that. So in the long term, you might want to consider switching to other affiliate vendors as well, or affiliate partners, whatever you want to call it. Does having Okay, so Pranav Madan asked, does having banners, sliders on your homepage lower our SEO? Does Google refrain from having them? Having banners, sliders, not really. I mean, if they basically, if they disrupt your users, if they make the user experience not good, then obviously you want to get rid of it. But if they're not really disturbing anyone and they're just there for promotion, stuff like that, then you can definitely have them, not an issues. But just don't go too overboard, right? Because if you put too much, obviously people are going to get distracted and stuff like that. Skill F asks, do you think that Amazon will restore the old commission rate? I don't think so. I mean, seeing from the rate that they're growing, obviously, they're not quite dependent on the affiliate on this, on their third party affiliate, what do you say, affiliate partners anymore. So they're kind of staying away from all of you guys, right? Basically, affiliate marketers, because like you can easily notice this, right? Like, I think last year, right, when they changed the affiliate program, the latest one, that time Jeff Bezos just became the number one richest man in the world. So you can imagine, like as soon as he became the richest man in the world, they changed commissions. So obviously, like they don't really care now, as it seems like, seeing from their how much they're growing. Planning to change affiliate program. Yeah, you should definitely change. I mean, in the long term, obviously right now you're just still small, so you might want to kind of hang on to them for a bit. But once your site takes off, and obviously you might want to change, or you can even start right now, like blend in Amazon with other affiliate vendors, program as well. That depends on you. All right, so it seems like we only have 5 viewers. I'll just wait for more questions. Maybe in the meantime, I'll go through a couple of questions in the Facebook group that I'm a part of, so you can also learn something as well. Wait for a little bit of more questions. Skill F said, more richer he becomes, more he cuts. Yeah, obviously. I mean, uh, that's that's just the way it is. Pranav Madan asked, how can we better page experience that is said to be ranking factor? How to best optimize for core web vitals? Uh, well, core web vitals. I think Google really has, they really put out a bunch of great documentation on this. So I think you can go through it. Um, I don't remember the link where they posted it, but I think they have documented quite well, in their blogs and stuff like that. You can easily look for it. But basically, you just have to kind of make sure that your site, loads fast. There's no elements, right? Just like ads or stuff like that shift around too much. And also, make sure, yeah. So basically, if you look at a core web vitals carefully, it's mostly about speed, right? The speed of your server, the speed of your page, the time to the paint time, stuff like that. So mostly it depends on the speed. So if you already have good server, if you already optimize your page good enough for speed, then most of the stuff you've already taken care of. And the only thing left there is cumulative layout shift, right? So That will depends on the different elements that you have on the page, such as the ad stuff like that. So yeah, mostly depends on speed if you want a quick answer to this question. But you can obviously go through the detailed documentation by Google. Does a preloader keyword ask, does a preloader affect page speed? Preloader, I think from what I've used, they do. I mean, they help to some extent. Like if you preload Google Fonts stuff like that. But if you preload too much, then it can also slow down as well. Like certain elements, it shouldn't be preloaded. While certain elements you can obviously preload, and also it will help. Mike asked, is it okay to format H1 tags with a line break between words to make H1 two lines? Yeah, sure. I don't see there's any problem with that. You can obviously do that. So Pranav, hope that answers your questions. To how to optimize for Core Web Vitals, and also really to be honest, Core Web Vitals, when Google really announced that it's going to become a ranking factor, people just start rushing for it, when in fact you should really focus it right from, I don't know, maybe 2012 or 2013, or even when, like, maybe 5 years ago, right? You should have focused on that 5 years ago, really, like, instead of doing it right now. And really, also I've seen people like going like way mad about it actually, but it's not really that important as a direct ranking factors, in my opinion. I mean, I don't know when they release it, as a ranking factor in May, we'll come to know how much it affects. But at the end of the day, it's going to be content, and it's going to be links, and it's going to be user experience. I mean, if you look at Core Web Vitals, is a part of your user experience. So uh, if you have, if you obviously there are also other stuff you can do on your page to have good user experience, but corporate vitals is a part of them. So overall, you can think of it as like like a user experience basically. Q asks, how was your week? Yeah, my week has been fine. I mean, this week has been a little bit busier than last week, but overall it is fine. How about you? How was your week? uh Pranav asks, do you recommend lazy loading images? Yeah, I do. I mean, if you have lots of images, then obviously it can help. Even if you don't have many images as well, but again, you might have to keep track of your users and see if they like it or not. But in general, I do recommend. Skill F asks, do you consider DAP and spam score while making backlinks? Yes, I do. I mean, I do look at them. Spam score, I don't look at them, but DAP I do look at. In conjunction with the traffic, of course, you can easily manipulate DA, right? So you have to make sure that, okay, it makes sense that for a particular DA, let's say DA 40, you wouldn't be getting like 200 traffic per month, right? That doesn't make sense. So you have to check in conjunction with traffic as well. Mike said, been thinking about setting up PBN. Are there any best practices or guidelines that you recommend? Yes, two main guidelines, and really just keep it simple. That is, number one, make sure that there's no footprints, right? Like, you don't host your website, your PBN on on the same servers as your client or as your own website, or as the same website that you want to link to. I mean, you can do it, but in a very minimal way, right? Like, let's say if you want to set up 10 PBNs, obviously you don't want to put all 10 in the same servers, same IPs. And also, the whois information, right? When you register the domain, if it is a .com, .net, or .org, then obviously your name will be visible, right? So if possible, try to use different persona for that. Otherwise, it's not that of an important, but mainly depends on the servers. And then just basically there, you should not interlink all these website up together, right? Let's say this is your first PBN, second PBN, third PBN. You should not all interlink them up. They should operate as different website, and there should not be any relationship among them. And so these are called like footprints basically, so there should not be any connection between these two, between these website and your website that you want to link to. And secondly, you just have to make sure that the website looks real as possible. Like give it some love, make sure that you write some good content on it, not just taking this spun content and throwing it like that. You should make it good enough so that your PBNs can rank for something, at least for some long tail keywords. That's the two main takeaways. Q said same, big stuff coming soon. Well, I'm looking forward to your big stuff. Do let me know as well, what is it. SkillF said some website has DA 32 to 35, but traffic is less, like 50 per day. Yep, I mean, obviously, you have to look at the DA and also the in conjunction with the traffic, whether it makes sense or not. So like when it comes to choosing metrics, I look at three things. So first, I look at whether the site is somehow at least partial real enough or not. Like, does it have real authorship? Does it have social media presence? Stuff like that. And secondly, the site should have some, like, should have uh certain amount of traffic in conjunction with their metrics, right? So I also look at, of course, DA and DR in conjunction with the traffic. And thirdly, just try to kind of make sure that the website is somehow relevant to my niche. Skillabs asked, how do I get started with PBNs? There are lots of online tutorials out there, about PBNs, where mostly they will recommend you to go for expired domains or auction domains, right? Because those domains already contain certain amount of links that you can obviously get the juice from. But nowadays I don't really go with expired domains much or at all, because I've seen that as time passes they kind of lose their importance and their authority over time. Like, I think it is called as PBN decay, basically, where PBN's power has reduced over time. Like, Google is getting better at recognizing expired domains, auction domains, stuff like that. So if you want to really start with PVN, the best way, in my opinion, is to really buy new domain, fresh domains that's relevant to your site, and set it up like like another of your website. Treat it like a secondary of your second website, and just build all the links that you need to that PVN. Obviously, you're not gonna spend much money on it, right? You can go with some cheap links like citations, stuff like that. But give it some love, treat it as if it's your second website. And yeah, that's the best way you can get started. Otherwise, you can obviously try go with the expired domain route, where you find the expired domains and set up a website on it. And there's also other, like, when selecting the domain, obviously there's other is like another topic for another day. Basically, it's quite a big one. But I think Craig Campbell, if you know Craig Campbell, he's pretty famous. He has lots of tutorials on how to use expired domain and stuff like that to build your PBNs. You can also check on that as well. But in a nutshell, it's just treating it the same way that you would treat your own website. Otherwise, it's not gonna work really, or it may work but might not be good enough. So I hope I answer all of your questions. You're welcome. So I'll see if I can find any good questions in the Facebook group as well, and I'll answer some of them so I can go through. Okay, let me see here. I'll go to SEO Signals Lab. It is probably the biggest SEO group available. I'll see if there's any questions. Okay. Okay, so here's a question that I've seen, multiple times. Somebody built 50,000 spam links to a single page on one of my sites. Uh, you know, what should he or she basically do? Well, if it doesn't affect your ranking, you shouldn't do anything. That's the simple answer to it. You shouldn't even disavow it actually. If it doesn't hurt you, then you shouldn't do anything. Let me maybe go through a couple of questions. This is an interesting poll. When do you plan to exit from SEO industry? You can let me know what's your opinion on this. There's another site issues. Let me see if I can find any good questions. Most of the questions are like, situation based, right? Like if I, like my site has been suffering from this and what should I do, stuff like that. I mean, for these kind of questions, the only way out or the only way to answer it is to really look into the site. I mean, if the one who posed the question, really like doesn't want to post his or her URL or domain, then there's really no way of, kind of know tell exactly what happened, except I'll because whatever we are doing here is just guessing basically. Let me see if I can find any good questions here. Can So this is also maybe a good question, I guess. Can the links of a de-index page still be followed? It used to be, but John Mueller stated this, I think 2 3 years back, that now it is not. Like if your page is no index, or if your page isn't indexed anymore, then the link won't be counted as well, even if it is followed. So keep that in mind. Uh, okay. Mike said a PBN for plumbing, a PBN for roofers. Yeah, you can set it up like that, or you can set it like a city PBN as well if you want, since you already target one city, right? So you can do that. So it seems like another guy, having problem with indexing. I mean, this is interesting. I mean, every now and then I've seen, people complaining about getting their page indexed. So just have a look at your website, have a look at your page, and see, the quality of it basically. Like if you're just duplicating thousands of pages without adding any extra value, obviously Google is not going to index them. You have to really be careful on nowadays, because storing those pages are very expensive, considering that Google is now fighting, basically Google is now filtering out 25 billion spam pages per day. think about that, how much work they're managing at the moment. So if your page is not really good enough, it's not going to index. This is an interesting one. What is the secret of staying ranked as long as possible or even forever? uh well, you just have to make sure that your page or your content is satisfying the users forever. Or for certain queries like evergreen queries, you find that certain sites, certain content has been ranking there for like very long time, and that's because the content satisfied user intent, satisfy what the user are looking for. And obviously, just to make sure that you're ahead of your competitors as well in the game. So it's like it's like a never ending game, basically, like that. Any questions? No questions. All right, I'll just go through the post and see. Doesn't seem to come up with some good ones. I got an email. Okay, so Mike said, I came across a website in Y Septic. The guy has hundreds of. Okay, Mike, hundreds of same pages. The only difference between many of them are the URL slug, in which many cases even headings are the same. Yeah, I mean, just what I mentioned, the quality of the page or the content. I mean, in your eyes, it may seem like duplicated. It may seem, basically not valuable. But you have to remember that they're ranking there for a reason, right? Like there must be some reasons behind that either users are liking it, or they're getting good coverage online, their local presses, stuff like that, basically. Or maybe they might have good reputation online as a whole. So if Google doesn't care, like whether you have duplicated or not, or stuff like that, at the end of the day, those are like best practices, like you shouldn't duplicate and stuff like that, right? But at the end of the day, if you're seen as an authority in the space, or if Google's still getting good signals from the users on your website, and no matter what crap you do, if users are still satisfying, obviously there is gonna rank. So if they're still ranking, then obviously there must be doing something right, like people might be liking them, or they might have good reputations. And maybe duplicating, I mean, duplicating, you have to see the situation as well. Like, okay, if you're a new site, you start duplicating all this, obviously you don't have any reputations, you don't have anyone talks about you, then at that moment, you might want to try to stay away from doing that kind of stuff, and only stick to the best practices first. like like what you mentioned, right, in the Discord group, where you said like there's another girl, I think Sasha it was, where she always mentioned that her landing pages are never getting indexed, stuff like that, whereas in your case it took you only like a day or so after creating those, and they got indexed right away. So it depends, right? Like your website and her website is different. There's like different perception between the two. So that's the thing. At the end of the day, authorities always wins, right? You can see, right, like big news sites don't have much of a good content, but still ranking really high. because overall the website is liked by users, uh, are liked by users, are perceived as authority by the users. So it all depends on the users, right? But obviously SEO, we when we starting out at certain point, obviously we want to follow the best practices, with the hope of basically to increase more chance of being liked by Google. So if they're ranking for, if they're already ranking, then it must be a reason. Do you still use cognitive SEO? How is it? I actually never use it really. I mean, I never like purchased the software, but the reason why I demonstrated it a lot in my channel is because you get a free version, right? Like you can use it for free. So anyone who watches my video can definitely use it right away, without spending any money. So yes, I mean, if you don't want to buy any on-page tool, on-page optimization tool, then cognitive SEO is the best option. I mean, it's the free available, right? It's the only one that has the free version available. But if you can pay for it, then you can obviously buy cognitive SEO software itself, or you can also choose others like Surfer SEO or Phrase.io. So nowadays these on-page tools are pretty common, right? So you can always obviously choose from that. But cognitive SEO is also another great one, and it's also ideal, right, for any beginners as well, right, for any beginners who don't want to spend any money on the tools. But how is it, you ask? Overall it is good. I mean, I used to use it a lot, when I started out, when I didn't have money to spend much on the tools, stuff like that. I always like it. I mean, it's probably it's the only free one available, so you can't, and it's not bad. Even it helped me a lot as well, to be honest. So it doesn't seem like there's any good questions really that I can answer in a group. So maybe about 20 more minutes, and have to leave. Any more questions, you can let me know in the chat. I'll be here for another 15 minutes or so. Or if you have any website that you want me to have a look at, you can also drop it in the chat as well. I can do a quick 5 to 10 minutes audit for you, and uh, let you know what you can improve. Mike asked, did you ever hear of Google Map creation, pinning, and backlinks to GMB CID? If so, what are your thoughts? Yeah, I've heard it's called, like, building links to CID, stuff like that. Uh, it is. So your question has two part. Uh, First is the creation of Google Maps and pinning. So that is, we call, like, My Maps. So for these strategies, I'm not sure if it's still working, but I've heard many people say it's not working anymore. Like, it it might work, but if you can only get those maps indexed, and which nowadays is very difficult. And secondly is backlink to GMB CID. I've never really tested it personally. But it seems to work. It seems to work. I mean, this is what I will. This is also what I advise you. You know, in your in one of our first session as well, to link CID to your Google My Business. Also, uh, do it, like, using your Web 2.0s, stuff like that. It seems to work. I haven't really tested it out, like, personally, but it seems to be industry kind of like a standard. And I also follow it myself as well, so I also do it. I mean, it takes just 2 minutes, right, to just add that kind of link. I linked it from my own website, and whenever, like, I do press release, or if I do like Web 2.0s, I also link in those as well. Okay, so here we have our first site audit: digital social light. Okay, this one. Let me see. Oh, is it .com? I mean, is it .com or what? Or is it even index? What is the extension for this? The TLD. Can't open it. Oh, okay. Sorry. It's digitalsocial.in. Okay. You maybe might want to give a space there in the dot so you can see that. Okay. Oh, digital socialite, digital marketing company in Jaipur. Okay. So homepage design looks good. So this seems like you don't want to rank for the homepage. It is the homepage only for the brand. So okay, now let's take a look at the about us page. About company. Digital social light, leading digital marketing. Okay, linking out. Let me check back the homepage again. Maybe if I missed something regarding the keyword. I mean, homepage, you don't really want to rank for anything, right? So uh really nothing much. So let's take a look at the service. Maybe I'll check one or two. So I think, since I'm not sure which pages you want to rank basically, but I would assume you want to rank for all of these uh service pages, right? Service pages. So you want to optimize these service pages for the location, right? So search engine optimization plus your city name, and content marketing plus your city name, stuff like that. I'm not sure. I mean, or otherwise, if you want to rank for your homepage, then you can let me know in that as well. Uh, just an assumption here, so you can let me know which page you're targeting. And let me see here. Uh, Maybe you might want to also link back to your homepage as well, right? Or the whatever page you want to rank for. And then here's your blog. And okay, so you have your blog here. So yeah, I mean, it's overall it looks good. It is a simple website, right? So really nothing much. Let me see if I have any question here. Yes, ranking for all of these. Okay, so if you want to rank for all of them, you should really optimize for all of them, right? Like service SEO, Jaipur, content marketing Jaipur, PPC management Jaipur, stuff like that, as well as the homepage. Optimize for that. And for the contact us page, okay, you have address there. Good. Okay, overall it looks good. It looks all right to me. Maybe if I do a search for the brand name to see, if what's come up really. Okay, so your brand name is ranking there, and Google even suggested, and so you have all these Instagram and even all these related stuff. Yeah, I mean overall it looks good. Your brand also looks good. I think it looks well. It looks good. Everything looks perfect. Just maybe increase a little bit on the backlink and stuff like that. But it looks good. Mike said that loader has to hurt time to first meaningful paint. Uh, are you referring to the preloader? Okay. It's ranking at 10th position for social media marketing Jaipur. Okay, let me see. Maybe that might let me check. So first I'll have to go and check the I'll change the country here. I mean overall it looks good. I mean Google seems to like the website and good brand association there as well. Uh, okay, here. Oh, okay, so your homepage is ranking for it, right? I see. Okay, so Google chooses to rank for. Oh, so it's not even 10. I mean, it's number here. All right. So if Google chooses your homepage, then you can obviously go for it. Maybe if you want to rank it a bit higher, you can try optimizing your social media marketing page for it instead, and test out whether that will rank or not. If that kind of competes with your homepage, then you might want to add a little bit of subtopics or headings or on the page that talks about social media marketing, right? So that will increase it a little bit better. But you can see certain websites are also ranking using the homepage, and some also ranking using the inner page like this one. So maybe you might want to try test out with the inner page as well, and see how well it ranks, and then you can figure out from there. Okay, it wasn't even ranking in top 100 4 months back. Wow, I mean that's amazing. I mean the way that I just did a search for their brand name, and Google seems to like it a lot as well. So maybe they must have done some good marketing behind it. Good promotion from around their brand. So that's a quick one as well, right? 4 months only. So that's interesting. That's interesting. Or maybe there's there's no there's not many competitors. I'm not sure. Uh, Competitors the seems to be okay. A bit of competitors there. Is the startup where I'm working. Interesting, interesting. So so you guys must be doing something, something in good there, like not just SEO, obviously, good promotions of your brand overall. Yeah, yeah, I remember that. So, overall, like congratulations on that. Like, they must have done something good. Interesting. There are more than 50 plus companies in Jaipur for digital marketing. So yeah, uh, Okay, so that's good. I mean, uh, definitely you must be doing something good there. I mean, overall, the website also looks good to me. Like, you have well optimized page throughout, good internal linking, proper, structure, stuff like that. Even the brand name looks good. So yeah, maybe, but your domain authority is just 7, right? So I think maybe if you decide to go a little bit heavy on backlinks, definitely, it will be in the top 3 for sure. I think what you're lacking now is just a little bit of more links. That's it. Okay, about 5 more minutes, and I'll be leaving. If I don't have any questions. Nice. So you must be working hard for it. No problem. Dimitris asked, "Do you have SEO clients from US? If so, can you make a video how to get them?" Yeah, I do have SEO client from the US. Uh, Video how to get them. Well, it's just mostly, just email outreach, right? Like that's what I focus on. I mean, for me personally, I'm not quite good at, like getting client and stuff like that. I'm more like geared towards the doing part, basically the fulfillment. So, but one person whom I look up to when it comes to how to get clients and stuff like that is Daryl Rosser. I'm not sure if you have heard about him, but he's quite famous, really. About his tactics and how to get clients and stuff like that. You can search for his channels on YouTube. He has whole lots of play videos on how to get clients, how to communicate, how to uh, how to create proposals, how to choose, and everything. He like even have a case studies on it. So you can definitely check him out on this. But yeah, I mean, for me personally, I like email outreach, and but really, if you want to go and get clients, right, you have to first make sure that you're good enough to handle the job for them. Because we have so many, SEOs, new SEOs out, who are like coming up, every single day, but only a few knows exactly how to do proper work, how to deliver proper work. So, if you think that you're good enough, then obviously you can go for it. Can you speak Siamese? Yeah, I can speak Thai language. It is called as Thai language, basically not Siamese. But I can speak fluently because I was born here and I used to study here as well. Actually, I study here. Yeah, I used to study here for like 10 plus years, so I definitely know. Okay, so any more questions? I'm leaving now in 5 more minutes or maybe 2 more minutes. Depends if I don't get any question in these 2 minutes or so. Because it seems like not many people are watching really. What I noticed, like from the last stream, was that there were many people who watched afterwards. So maybe people might be interested more in watching afterwards than joining the live. So I'm not sure. I'll also see like what's the traction on these streams. I'll be doing it for maybe for this month, and I'll see what's the feedback. If I don't like get many of the viewers, stuff like that, I might decide not to do the stream because obviously it's a little bit time consuming as well. Um, But anyway, I really have fun doing it. Like it's a new thing for me, so I really enjoy doing it. Uh, you're welcome, Dimitris. I answered your questions. You can definitely check out Daryl Rosser. He's like a master, when it comes to getting clients. I'm not really good at it, really personally. Just depends on outreach and also personalization, right? Like when you do outreach, you have to be as personalized as possible. That's also another main key. I'll try to basically level up my game when it comes to getting more clients. I'm also learning as well this side. We'll definitely focus on it in the near future. If I'm confident enough that I can really teach something about it, then I'll definitely make some videos on this. At the moment, I'm really not that good. Okay, so I think I have to end the stream for today, and I'll see you guys next Wednesday at the same time at 8:30 EST. So I stream I stream on YouTube every Wednesday 8:30. Let me just write that down. AM EST. Okay, so just keep that in mind. Hopefully to see you all. Thank you for answering the questions. You're welcome, Ankit. So thank you everyone for joining, and I'll see you next week. Have a great day and happy rankings.